Greetings, everyone, and welcome. September the 30th, 2025, 1:20 a.m. in Moscow. Vladimir Putin has now spoken. He has addressed the nation of Russia. The speech was just released 1 hour and 20 minutes ago on the day of reunification. We heard from Donald Trump a few days ago about the apparent shift in his tweet about the support for Ukraine, weapons, go take your country, all of those things. And I shared with you guys that Vladimir Putin would not speak nor reply to anything for 4 or 5 days, but he would use proxies to communicate. We have been seeing that through people like Lukashenko of Belarus. But now, today, this day, beginning in Moscow, Putin has spoken to the nation, and through that address, he is speaking to Donald Trump, he is speaking to President Volodymyr Zelensky, and he is speaking to the world. Now, I want to validate it, and then I'm going to play his statement for you. I've already got it translated for you so that you can hear it and see it in English. But if we go here, I want to validate, this is on the President of Russia's site, okay, and you come here, September the 30th, 2025 at midnight. This was released, address on the day of reunification of the Donetsk People's Republic, Lugansk People's Republic, and the Zaporozhye and Kherson regions with Russia. And yes, Vladimir Putin calls it a righteous war. We're fighting a holy war in Ukraine, and we're liberating the people that want to be with Russia. Now, without further ado, let's get right to it, and then we'll comment on it as we go. It's not that long, about 3 minutes, but in those 3 minutes, he says a lot that the world will be waking up to and evaluating over the next 24 hours. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting. We're doing our very best to get this pertinent information out to you as fast as possible and accurate. Let's begin.
Dear friends, respected citizens of Russia, I sincerely congratulate you on this holiday, the day of reunification of the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, Zaporizhzhia and Kherson regions with our great united country. 3 years ago, in referendums in Donbas and Novorossiya, millions of our compatriots freely chose their future, realizing a long-held dream. They made the crucial, fateful decision to be with their fatherland, with Russia, to return to the family they had always been part of. Together, we did what we had to do, and we are proud of it.
So, 3 years ago, we're celebrating millions of people in the Donbass and Novorossiya decided to join us, of course, in the sham referendums, and we honor them for wanting to be back with us, and that forced us to do what we're having to do. What is that? Wage war against Ukraine.
We supported our brothers and sisters in their firm, responsible choice. Today, defending this choice, our fighters and commanders rise to the attack as the entire country, all of Russia, wages a righteous battle and works.
Because of this, our warriors are rising to the battle because all of Russia is waging a righteous battle and righteous works. I told you, this holy war, he's calling it.
Together, we defend our love for the motherland and the unity of our shared historical destiny. We fight and win, defending core national interests, shared memory and values, the Russian language, traditions, culture and faith, our sacred right to honor the feats of our ancestors, generations of true Russian patriots, warriors and workers.
Now, listen, in there, you have just heard this detailed breakdown of the core issues, the root causes of this war. He's laying them out. Of course, he's wrong, but he's laying them out. The Russian language, culture, faith, freedom, our historical ancestors. That's what is repeated over and over and over. And you're hearing it now from Vladimir Putin again.
Together, shoulder to shoulder, we will continue to build our common home, a great and independent country, a sovereign state. We will overcome any trials and only grow stronger. I know how hard it is now for residents of liberated cities and towns.
Let's stop there. We will overcome anything needed to accomplish this. There is the statement, part of it, to the West, to Trump. We'll overcome anything. It's a statement to the EU about sanctions. It's a statement. Now, we'll see what comes of it. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what he is saying here. And now he's going to talk about the difficulty of the liberated cities and towns. And I remind you that it is Russia that has invaded and leveled these cities to the ground. Now listen to what he says.
There are many truly acute pressing problems, among them the paramount vital issues for every person: reliable water supply, access to quality health care, and so on. We must not only rebuild what was destroyed in the fighting, but also fix infrastructure neglected for decades.
We must repair everything that was destroyed in the fighting. Well, you destroyed it all. And we must take care of neglect that has been there for decades.
That's why a massive program of socio-economic development, in essence a revival of our ancestral Russian lands, has been launched. The whole country, all regions of Russia joined in. Thanks to their direct involvement and federal support, over 23,500 facilities have been built or renovated in Donbass and Novorossiya since 2022.
23,500 buildings have been built or renovated. No, they haven't.
These include homes, schools, modern medical facilities, sports complexes, and youth centers. Energy, communications, utilities, and transport systems are being upgraded. 460 kilometers of utility networks and 6,350 kilometers of roads have been laid or modernized. There's still much to do, but we'll certainly accomplish all our goals. We'll provide conditions to unlock Donbass and Novorossiya's huge industrial, agricultural, scientific, and cultural potential.
There it is. There it is. We're stealing that land because it is extremely wealthy. Natural resources. Come back. This is why the United States is working so hard for that mineral deal. The problem is a majority of those very expensive and valuable rare earth minerals are in occupied territory that Russia now has temporarily. But you can hear him saying we're going to unlock the potential of all of that internal wealth of those regions.
So families can grow, raise children, and have more opportunities for education, creativity, and career growth. On this Defender of the Fatherland Day, I especially address our soldiers and officers, the true heroes of our time. Thank you for your loyalty, valor, and courage in your challenging combat duties. I'm confident you'll ensure Russia's security. Lasting peace will return to the heroic lands of Donbass and Novorossiya. Together, we'll bring all our plans to life. Happy holiday, happy reunion day.
Happy reunification day is what he says there. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting to hear what Vladimir Putin would say. And that is exactly what he said 90 minutes ago. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting. I'm looking forward to your thoughts on this one. The bottom line is, I see no end in sight for this war. What I see is escalation, and the coming days and weeks are going to be paramount and critical for how we proceed going forward. Thank you for all that you do to stand with Ukraine. Be blessed.